Uh, Hi, everyone. Hi, digital marketers. Hope you're having a great conference so far, and we're nearly wrapping up with the search track for the day. So, in this next session, which is the last one, you're really in for a treat. While today we've heard some great talks on increasing your traffic, increasing your awareness, your conversion rate through various forms of search advertising. Actually, if you think about it, to wrap up today's information with a look at online analytics and attribution. So basically, the idea is once you've implemented a lot of the strategies learned today, you will now need to track how effective your efforts have been by attributing your conversions properly and allowing you to optimize with better data. As such, it's my pleasure to introduce Enrico Pavan as our next speaker. Enrique is a bona fide analytics expert with international renown. He's currently serving as chairman to the Marketing Analytics Summit of Milan, and he's been shortlisted a bunch of times, almost every single year since 2014, I believe, in the Quanti's Digital Analytics Association Awards, one of the most prestigious analytics associations in the world.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for the introduction, Larry.
No worries. I think there's a slight delay, but let's hope not. But I'll let you crack on. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't see you anymore, but I think we can start with the presentation at the moment. So let me share my screen. Okay, here we are. So nice to meet you all. I'm Enrico Pavan. I'm the founder and president at Analytics Boosters, company based in Italy, focused on analytics and conversion rate optimization consulting. I'm on the market for more than, I'm going to say, 15 years. So, I could be a dinosaur of the web. Today, we will see through a case how we use GA4 and Universal Analytics to evaluate the user behavior, the customer journey, and improve the customer's business. So here you have some more details about me. Feel free to reach me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, where you want. I'm very happy to jump on a talk about data analytics, conversion rate optimization, MBA, an MBA addicted, toolband, and much more. So feel free to add me on LinkedIn and Twitter. So let's kick it and try to give you the whole picture of the case and the situation right now. So the current situation, as we know, we have GA4 and Universal Analytics. And at the moment, the two software are seen as proceeding on two parallel tracks. And as we know, the parallel tracks never cross. And it's like, I can say, asking to choose only one donut for breakfast or to choose your favorite between the chocolate and the one with the triple chocolate or something, or the cinnamon or whatever you want. At the moment, it's impossible. And the same for GA4 and Universal Analytics. We need to eat them all, or maybe we have to configure both via dual tagging and crossing the result in order to get the most from the both software. For example, we can not mix the nailed data from Universal Analytics or GA4, but we can use the best of the two software combined together to get the best result, the best insights related to our customer needs or something like improve our business and stuff like that. So starting with the case, our customer is a retail customer that have e-commerce and physical store into the Italian northeastern territory, and they ask us to increase the average order value, to increase the e-commerce and in-store purchase, and try to define a correct customer journey between on and offline. So try to get the same customer experience and maybe better customer experience for people that land into our website and then go through the online store, or vice versa. They go to the store and then want to buy. And so we try to merge all these type of things in order to get the best customer journey and conversion rate online and offline for our customers. So we have to configure both GA4 and Universal Analytics, as I said before, via dual tagging and crossing the result data in order to get the most from the both software. This is what we've done using Google Tag Manager. And with the same configuration of Google Tag Manager, with the same container of Google Tag Manager, we started developing two different, in parallel, tracking related to Google Universal Analytics and GA4. All starts from the definition of customer needs, because you need to understand what your customer want to know about their business, and you have to mix it with your experience in order to avoid missing answer. For example, a classic case is, can we have the CTR between, for example, the hero view banner and the clicks received by the hero banner? And maybe the answer is no, because we haven't tracked it yet. So you need to define the customer needs as the first step of the configuration and the analysis. And then you have to mix the customer needs with your experience in order to give the best of the tracking to your customer and get actionable insight coming from your data. So first of all, we need to map the data sources. And for Google Analytics, in this case, Universal Analytics, first we mapped all the data sources in order to assess what to integrate and track in Universal and later in GA4. And then with regard to Universal, we have exploited the integration between CRM, user ID, and data import and integration from third-party system like the data warehouse and the data lake our customer had into their system integration. So, for example, we linked the Salesforce user ID as a primary key in Google Analytics, and from Google Analytics we sent the user behavioral data directly to the CRM, matching the user ID with the CRM ID. So we have the complete information of our users, what they try to browse into the website, and maybe what they try to buy in the store using the fidelity card, and that is the same for the CRM ID. And then we can send the user action from analytics to the Salesforce and other stuff like user ID into analytics in order to understand the whole customer journey of our customer. And then another integration that we made is from the data lake, we sent the information related to the user attributes. For example, we send the information related to the membership type, the LTV, the RFM level. So if a customer is at risk, or a customer is our advocate or our brands and something like that, to Google Analytics in order to create, for example, segments to import and resend to the DMPs or Google Ads or search or campaign manager or other type of DMPs in order to get the perfect target for retargeting, remarketing, and real-time bidding for our users, our customer. And then in parallel, we map the measure and plan. So we want to make the measure and plan a kind of onboard diary accessible to all company stakeholders, because the measure and plan is something crucial in each type of tracking system, but is very crucial for GA4, because GA4 has a lot of touch point to create events or manipulate data and something like that. So the measurement plan is something that you need to create and define when you start tracking something with analytics. And in this case, the measurement plan has been divided into several sections in order to use different communication register for each single company unit. So we spoke with a certain type of communication register to the C-level, or other type to the SIO or something like that. So we divide it into different communication register, and for example, we translate the customer's main information needs in KPIing. That could be very easily to retrieve into Google Analytics or into the spreadsheet that we made. And again, without this type of information, especially in GA4, means like skating on the thin ice, and the probability of errors and misunderstanding increase exponentially respect the universal analytics stuff. So for the single software tracking, we have tracked different things. So since we already defined the customer needs, we map the data sources and establish which KPI we tracked. And here some example of what we tracked for both Universal and GA4. So for example, for Universal Analytics, we try to track the exit intent in order to understand if people try to get out of the website, closing the browser, or switching to another tab. We import the data coming from users and membership or something like that, the user ID, the data cost, for example, the information related to the campaign made into Facebook, into Bing, or something like that. And in order to get to the ROIS complete for our customer, and then we try to define and to understand the pathing using the browser, using the device, in order to understand if people browse the website with a portrait and then switch in landscape, and why, and in which page people switch from portrait and landscape. For example, they don't see the add to cut button using the portrait or something like that. So we try to understand the whole path into the website. And then using GA4, we use GA4 to understand, for example, the exploration tab that they give us, and especially using funnel analysis, path analysis, the overlapping analysis, the importing the user ID, and track the human and system error. Human errors means people that, for example, wrote an incorrect password or an incorrect login or something like that, and we try to understand if there is some trouble, for example, in some field that could be easily complete by an automation. And errors, system errors, means 500 errors from servers or 404 pages, something like that, in order to understand if we are serving the right page or the right content to the people. And then obviously we plan to track and develop the something into both systems. In this case, we tracking the out of stock on product page in order to understand how many PDP page were displayed with dedicated ribbon, and how many users trying to put the product into the cart directly from the PDP. Or we try to understand the product added to the wish list and the time to purchase via the wish list, and the number of total product and the different items for a single cart using the cart ID. And we decided to use the proper tracking for both systems. So we didn't set up any plugin or any shortcuts, for example, using the universal data layer to retrieve data also in GA4 is something is not the best practices, and we want to have all in place in order to switch on next year to GA4 easily and without any compliant or any non-compliant, information sent by plugin or shortcut that could be very dangerous for the data collection. And then once the tracking has been set, it was time to shift to the data analysis phases. And starting from Universal Analytics, we noticed that the main clutch point while navigating the e-commerce is the product page, as you can see from the funnel here. And we gather the data via the tracking setup to collect insight about the user action in the product page. And we found that the main problem was related to the choice of the size of the single product. So, for example, here we saw that a great part, important part of users tried to put into the cart product that was sold out or not available, and they tried to grab this product and set it into the cart using, for example, the size selector or something like that. So in the second point, we use the user ID crossing with the Salesforce data, so the CRM data, and the value of the abandonment cart by users, mixing all together. We created an automation dedicated to the attempt to transform an abandoned cart to a transaction. So, for example, we have here the user ID, that is the fidelity card, and also the CRM ID, and the value of the cart that they left when they leave our website. And then using this type of information, we send the data to the CRM and then send it to the system that in this case was MailChimp, but could be ActiveCampaign, could be whatever you want. We try to send proper and targeted email to customer in order to transform this type of things in transaction. And then using GA4, thanks to the new funnel and especially to the elapsed time, we found out more about the checkout steps. For example, the user took too long to fill in the form and thus abandon the purchase flow. As can you see here, for example, from step 2 to step 3, the main problem was related to the billing filed as both for the B2C and B2B users, because the process was the same and the checkout flow was the same and doesn't change even if you are a B2C or B2B user. So the direct consequence of that was the high time and abandonment of the step related to billing, especially by private users, because we asked them to set up the VAT, other stuff that we have in Italy for finance or something like that. So it was very, very difficult for a B2C customer understand that they have to leave this file and that is only for B2B. And then after that, we use the path analysis. Through the reverse pathing, we discover interesting related to navigation and the event generated by user to complete a purchase. So we start from the purchase and we go on step back to understand which are the best pathing of the users to reach the purchase. And this is something that you can only do easily in GA4. You can do it in Universal Analytics, but it's very messy because if you have a website with a lot of traffic, maybe you have a high percentage of sampling, and it's something that you cannot trust when you create an analysis. Using GA4 pathing analysis, you have the raw data, and you can understand the complete pathing forward and backward, and we use that to improve the user experience and to reduce the fallout, understanding what people do into the website. And then we create two type of event, cart threshold KO and cart threshold OK. That means people that doesn't reach the free shipping tier, adding something to the cart, and that is the cart threshold KO. And if people can get the free shipping, and then they can have the cart threshold OK. And so using this type of event we created, we understand, for example, that people put something into the cart and then add other stuff to get the free shipping, and we create ad hoc bundles to immediately guarantee the free shipping for people that bring some type of product into the cart and so on. So after that, we use the overlap analysis to evaluate the correlation between items and other stuff, and to understand and test the onboarding and retention campaign with the intention to optimize the campaigns in order to specify traffic acquisition in onboarding and retention phase, and to don't waste money putting all in onboarding or retention. And then we try to understand which products, for example, are most frequently viewed by users and which are added to the cart immediately after. And as a consequence, we were able to improve the pathing analysis, modifying related and suggested products, and introducing the complete your look feature, and again creating some ad hoc bundle for user who presented in for user who were present into specific audience. And another example here, we discover, for example, that men's product of Valentino brand are purchased by 100% if associated with those of Versace. So most of these purchases are made for users who surf our website using iOS, but not Android. So what we did was to create bundle and dedicated customization related to the device used by the users, and create audiences for ADV and remarketing, retargeting for people that, for example, view Versace items, and then create an upselling with Valentino and something like that. And then we try to recreate the RFM metrics using the average daily purchases, something like that. So it could be very, very useful to understand. And last but not least, we create, for example, the audiences to put this information to Google Ads, to import this information to Google Ads. And this is something that is audience on steroids respect Universal Analytics, because you can nail the targeted users to and send them to the proper retargeting remarketing feature or banner. Then we try to define the mobile data, the mobile attribution model and the first-party data involved, because our customer tell us, for example, we record a lot of improvement, everything is fine, but I'm not hit with the attribution models made by Google. So it's possible to create one only for us. And we said, sure, challenge accept. So it was some funny and some not easy to do, but we try to make it. So what we we use is the GA4 event, a Python script, Markov chain for the algorithm, and then create the rule. For example, the first impression, last node direct, blah, 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 and so on. Then we create the path level, BigQuery, and a sampling that set from Crisian that solves some problem for us and can try to test it into GitHub. We created the data preparation using the user ID and the client ID, the path channel in order to understand the path to convert, the path timestamp, the difference in hours between conversion interaction, the conversion 0 or 1, depending on the conversion or not, the value of the conversion, and the look back window at the conversion period on 90 days and 30 days. Then we bring all the data coming from the first party data, coming from, in this case, BigQuery, and we set, for example, Google Analytics data, CRM data, offline store data, and we import the first party data like CRM data, membership type, LTV, average order value, purchase time, so online and offline, and then we set the data standardization in order to normalize the data, and we get the membership type, the single user, shopping, e-commerce, online, offline, something like that. And this is something, and the magic happens, or this is the result that we have. So as you can see here, we have a result table with the model journey ID with the proper attribution model and the predicted conversion for a group or single user. For example, in the row number 3, we have the people both in offline mode for the first time, and then we expected a next purchase in 31 days for about 2k euro from organic search, so from online. And this is something that could be very useful when you try to optimize online and offline sales, conversion, and other stuff that I will show you in a minute. Then, in summary, with Google Analytics, we use Google Analytics to to create a user behavior analysis and made A/B testing for the pages with the out of stock and the multivariate testing for content, for example, of the upper section of the PDP, like color arrangement, size, description, something like that. Then we set up mail automation for the users who request quotes or abandoned cart and have the user IDs already set. And then we create, for example, customization based on the user ID. And we ask people to leave to us their email or their phone number in order to send them. We are looking for it for you. And we advise if we discover something related to this type of product, and if we can bring it for you and send or sell it to you, we will send you an SMS or an email with the product that you are looking for. And then with GA4, we have the evidence of the fallout in the purchase funnel and also the time lapse from the single steps. And we try to make A/B testing in order to understand which type of fields we can improve, or if we need, for example, two type of checkout funnel for the B2C and the B2B and something like that. So we have the evidence of the recursive path from, for example, people that made another purchase and which type of product they used to exceed the shipping cost threshold, and then why we cannot create a bundle and send it to our user and then send it to via mail or via remarketing and retargeting, and then try to test different strategies on onboarding and retention, and improve obviously the audiences imported into Google Ads in order to target the right people at the right moment. And using the first-party data and with the forecast model, we set it up and we try to improve the forecast model to anticipate the user needs. And we try to anticipate the user needs, creating custom content for registered user, because otherwise, without the CRM ID, we don't know which type of users and which user website. And then we set up custom attribution models that is very, very similar to the data-driven attribution model made by Google. Obviously, is more accurate. I know the data-driven attribution model made by Google respect ours, but it was very, very similar. And then the important thing that we made using the forecast is that we send customer info to our store managers in order to provide best user experience into the store. So, for example, when people give to the store manager the fidelity card, we understand the users and we send the information related which type of purchase they made 3 months ago or 6 months ago or 1 year ago. And then we send could be very important. For example, they abandoned something into the cart. We send this information to the display of the store manager. And if there is something into the store, they try to upsell the purchase of the users using this information that we send to them. And then we achieve this goal, so the reduction of the gap between file form by 85%, and increase of purchase 12.5%, decrease the out of stock, free shipping, cities increase, and remarketing retargeting improved by 20%. So wrapping up, we need to select only functional data, no vanity data. And again, no vanity data. We need to work with the in-house data, aka first-party data or zero data. And then we need to get the best quality made by a proper setting of tools, for example, Google Analytics, Snowflake, whatever you want. In this case, Google Analytics, but you can use Adobe, every type of software you need to set it up in order to guarantee the data quality, to generate actionable insight in order to improve the performance of your business. Obviously, if you have something offline, please try to put it together with the online, maybe in a data lake or something like Azure, something like Oracle, something like BigQuery, and try to discover hidden gems related to the online offline purchases or behavior that could be very useful to understand your users and try to get the best of the best experience you can give to users in order to try to improve purchases or sign up or leads or something like that. So thanks for your attention, and I'm here and happy to talk with you if you have any question.
Thank you very much, Enrico. Thanks a lot for that. So I was just fumbling with my camera. I'm going to check the Q&A right now. So we in terms of the questions, if anyone has any, please can you put them through now while we've got Enrico who's given that fantastic talk, because we've got his time for just another I think 10 minutes. I think we have another 8 minutes, and so yeah, I'll let everyone pop in some questions now. But yes, thank you so much for that. I'd say one of the questions I had would be, what do you think of the different CRMs out there as an analytics guy? Which, if you had to recommend one CRM that you think, let's say if you want to do things at a basic level, really does things well. I know you focus a lot on e-com and stuff like that, but if you had to recommend to kind of like maybe a smaller company or a startup company, what either e-com CMS, or if they're B2B, what kind of CRM would you recommend they use that does a lot of, that in your opinion is really advanced in the way it tracks and attributes things?
Great question, and it's not simple to answer because
Yeah.
there is a jungle of providing for CRM and that. So I think if you are a small or middle company, you can use, for example, Zoho as a CRM, or you can integrate Zendesk, because one of the most important things into the when you run e-commerce is to get the most valuable thing coming from data quantity, and data quality, and qualitative data. The better way is to understand the user needs. When you have, for example, something like Zendesk, then people can write you back and understand if there is something that is not clear, and you can improve everything using this type of data. So I'll try to suggest you to use Zoho and the Zendesk. And if you are going to, for example, try to improve, or you want to grow a little bigger, you can switch to Salesforce, maybe Pardot, that is a branch of Salesforce, and it's not very expensive, and you can have a lot of things, a lot of connection with analytics tools, main analytics tool like Google Analytics, Adobe, and something like that. So this is the two things that I think that I can suggest. Related to the CMS, I think every type of CMS could be the best that suits for you, and it depends on the catalog that you have. For example, you have 1 million product. WooCommerce is not for you. You have to switch to SAP or Hybris. It's the same, but the Demandware or something like that. But if you are a middle company, I think the best way is to use for the easy way could be Shopify or Magento, but Shopify not the standard, because you cannot modify the checkout. I think is something is a limitation for the tracking, for the information coming from. Starting from the, I don't remember, advanced, I think is the license that you have to modify the checkout system, and then you can build in and try to select everything from the merchant center. I think it's a good way to start your e-commerce.
Great. We had some other people talking about the software development sector, what you'd suggest, but I think you basically answered that from what I can tell. So there you have it, everyone. If you're considering a rebuild of your site, take those points into consideration when you're looking at your kind of back end customer data management. But that's been absolutely amazing to hear everything you've just said, Enrico. I definitely learned a lot, and I think everyone here did as well. And yeah, thanks so much for your time and for sharing all of that with us.
I think that one thing that I suggest for this year, but is already too late, very too late,
yeah,
is to jump on the GA4 as quickly as you can. Because we know I think it's still in beta. It's not yet into the prod mode, I think.
Yeah.
But it's the new standard that you have to use for the next year if you want to remain with the Google.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to jump on and try to use it from this month to July. Try to play with it, and for example, try to create new metrics that could be useful for you. For example, understand if people set some product into the wish list, and try to understand if the product could be an out-of-stock product or is an in-store product or in-stock product, and try to understand why the people set this type of product into the wish list, and if they add it to the cart or if they purchased, because it's something that is native for GA4, this type of events. So you need right now to play with GA4, and then starting from June or July of this year, you have to set it up properly, because you have a data retention, if you have not the 360 version, of 14 months. And if you want to understand year over year, you must be implemented GA4 by the end of June of this year.
Gotcha. Well, thanks a lot for that. So I think that actually brings the search track. Oh, we've got one more question. Was the creation of your own attribution model worth it? This is what Arturas Tilindis is asking. He says, what was the creation of your own attribution model worth it as compared to using out-of-the-box models from Google? And what practical problems did it help solve and generate value?
Okay, good question. Until GA4 send out the data-driven attribution model, the standard models that we have into Google Analytics, the whole Google Analytics platform, were not satisfy our customer and not satisfy me. So, for example, first click or last click not direct, something like that is something that I don't like it, because you miss something. So we try to create this type of I can say data-driven model, or data-driven model using the Markov chain, that is a probabilistic method that we use for statistical inference, in order to understand if we can standardize and normalize data coming from the data model with no legacy with Google Analytics information. And until GA4 send us roll-up data-driven attribution model was a great thing using our system, because we were agnostic related to every type of pathing that user could be, or a touch point selected by users, selected by Google, sorry. And we have an increase of people that made a purchase in using a retention and try to get the information. For example, they land with this type of campaign, then we saw that using our attribution model, they do other stuff, other searches for organic, and then we have mail, something like that, blah, blah, blah. And it was very, very useful for us to understand in which type of campaign invest our money to onboarding and retention. Then, using the data-driven attribution model, you can have the whole data set by Google, by the machine learning of Google, and you can use it with no problem. The difference is that you have to trust Google with the algorithm of the Google Analytics 4, or you have to trust yourself with Markov chain and something like that. So this is the main difference that we have. And it solved problems related to, for example, prediction and forecast for the offline store.
Gotcha. Well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much again. And so, so everybody, if you want to contact Enrico about anything like this, you've got his contact details at the front of this presentation, which you can download in the PDF. So do go check out his company. Go check him out and get in touch for anything to do with tracking and attribution. As you can tell, he knows pretty much everything there is to know about this topic. So I will definitely be sending this across to our analytics guys in my company to take a good look at. So other than that, so that is actually the end of the talks for the first day. So we've wrapped up on a really good note. And so hopefully everyone has got a lot of value today. I hope you all had a productive day. And once again, I want to say a special thank you to our sponsors. If you remember, Amplitude, Traffic Guard, Tidio, and TDA. And a huge thanks for our organizers and the other track hosts who worked hard to make this conference happen. And of course, thank you so much to the conference speakers themselves who have given us all of their time and insights. So see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. where Phil Pallen is going to open up the second conference day with a talk on branding is your secret weapon. So everyone take care. I'll see you again tomorrow. And yep, good stuff.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Cheers, Enrico.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.